we've got our next talk about to take place. So this is going to be a panel talk hosted by Barry Hopkins from England Athletics, and he's going to be joined on stage by Jo Pavey, Mitcham and Sara Willhoit. So if you could please put your hands together, welcome them to the stage. It's our England Athletics panel.
So, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. As many of you know, England Athletics is the national governing body for athletics and running in England. And we're delighted to have this slot with you here today. I'm Barry Hopkins. I'm your host for this session here today. And England Athletics looks after the sport from grassroots level right through to the Commonwealth Games standards, and we've got a series of programs which spark a love of running, throwing and jumping in children to developing that talent pathways for high achieving athletes as well. England Athletics, along with the affiliated clubs, inspires all runners of all abilities, whether you're part of a local club or training on your own. It's especially exciting for us here today as well as we launch Run EA, which is our new individual running membership created for all run lovers everywhere, and it's designed specifically for individual runners who are not ready to join a club yet. So for a small fee of £30 you can now join us. We're over on stand G60, get the plug in there. So if you're interested, either see us afterwards or pop over to the stand. And if you're going to take any pictures during it, do tag us at England Athletics. We'd love to see your posts. We are a friendly bunch, so do feel free to ask any questions. But for now, let's introduce the panel to you. So we are joined on stage, first of all, by Jo Pavey over there. Jo is a 5-time Olympian and a World Championship medalist. Jo has had an incredible career spanning over 2 decades. In fact, probably more really, Jo, to be honest. Yeah, exactly. Jo represented her country from distances from 1,500 metres through to 10,000 metres and has claimed medals at all the major championships, including World Bronze, European Gold and Bronze. And it says here, you're known for your grit and determination and love of running, and now you're coaching down in Devon. We're joined on my left here is Mitcham. He's already got 2 World Championship medals and a European Gold. There's no doubt, and he's paid me to say this, that he is a rising star of British 400 metre sprinting. And in fact, it was about this time last year you said to me you're going to go for the British record.
Did I say that?
Yeah, you did, yeah. We'll come back to that one in a little bit. Rio moved up through the distances, starting as an under 13, beginning with 100 metres, then 200 and finally the 400. His current personal best over 400 metres, and I'm hoping we've got this right, 45.6. That is pretty good. And is part of our 4x400 metre relay squads for Britain as well. And in the middle there we have Sara Willhoit. Sara is a dedicated mountain runner and has conquered some of the toughest challenges in the sport, having been competing since 2014, so relative newbie then, Sara, yeah, just 10 years. And some of you will resonate with this story. She started out with her local park runs, and that was her sort of first love, and discovered her love for the trails, and then obviously the mountains as well. She's represented England and Great Britain on many occasions. 2023 was an outstanding year for her. This is ready for another round of applause, where she got team bronze at the World Mountain Running Championships. So we've got quite a varied selection of experiences from the three panellists here today. So we're just going to have a little chat to you to start with. We'll start with you, Rio, I think. So what does running mean to you, and how would you describe that power of running?
I think like being an athlete that's running is my everyday. It's hard for running to not be my whole life, and it's been like a consistent thing literally since like my love for sports days in school up until county championships, up until world championships. Like running has just been the only real consistent other than family like in my whole life, and I kind of see it as this thing that's like I know a lot of people see it as their like escape and like their thing that they do to take themselves away from life, but running like is my life. So I'm gonna do it after I retire from competitive sport, and I'm gonna do it literally until the wheels fall off. It just gives me this feeling that I can't seem to replicate anywhere else in life.
And just to address that earlier point, British record, yes, no?
If I'm being honest, it was a lot slower last year. Matt Hudson-Swift did some crazy things on the track this year, so I'm going to put a lot of respect on his name that the record is crazy now. But I obviously still aim as high as I can. I'm not going to set any limits on myself, so if Matt's somewhere hearing this, I'm coming for it.
There we go. So when he gets it, you heard it here first. Sara, same for you. What's running for you? I mean, obviously going up mountains, but you know, tell us, what does it mean? What is the power of running for you?
For me, it is just about getting outside, really. It's being outside, being with friends, having that community around you. It is your everyday, really. You know, you're putting it in the morning, in the evenings. It's every day, really. And it kind of brings a way of brings confidence. It builds confidence. You know, I didn't start running when I was very young. I started mid-20s, and I was very nervous about getting onto a track, joining a group, and it took me many attempts before I actually went onto a track to overcome that fear. And I think it just it's just a real confidence builder, and getting over those fears. It's power of doing that. Yeah.
And just do mountains kind of, does that kind of really fuel that power for you? Is it? I mean, why mountains specifically?
Yeah, I mean, they're so giant, aren't they? And some of them are like really rugged and inaccessible. But it's kind of built that confidence that I am able to get up there, get into kind of a wild, remote location, and be able to be self-sufficient and get out of it. It's pretty, it's real good boost to be able to feel like you can do that.
Amazing. And Jo, obviously quite a different experience in running to Sara with her mountains there, but the power of running, what's that look like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's so many things. I mean, you only have to look around us, look at our wonderful running community. It's so wonderful that we can all get together, share our experiences, encourage each other, and that's what's so amazing, how it brings people together. I love that, and I love the way it's so inclusive. It doesn't matter what standard you are, what your goals are. We're all as one big community, and we get a chance to celebrate that this weekend. And I think for me, same as what Sara said, it's given me confidence. You know, I was quite shy as a young schoolgirl, and I think just having something to focus on, opportunity to make new friends, and that really helped me with other skills in life. I think the power of running, when you're into running, you learn other life skills, don't you? Like the power of resilience, setting yourself goals, planning, what to do when things go a bit wrong, and how you can learn those lessons and move forwards, and that can set you up for other challenges in life. It teaches you not to give up. It teaches you to find a way. It teaches you to have those aspirations, those goals to aim for, and realising that you make a plan, but that plan can be a flexible plan, and you have to find ways around it. I feel so grateful, all the wonderful people I've met along the way, all the experiences I had. Like, yes, I've aimed for certain performances, but now I'm kind of in the later years of my running. Like a lot of us, I'm more sort of, you know, looking back on, wow, the experiences I've had, the people I've met. I love community. I'm now with Running at 40 Plus, who have become England affiliated, and I'm really excited about being part of that, really trying to encourage people that maybe weren't runners when they're younger to get into it and really enjoy that power of running. But yeah, I mean, the list is endless, isn't it? And I'm really excited to be here with Rio and Sara, who've achieved so much. Yeah, so yeah, enjoying it still.
Yeah, and it's interesting you mentioned there, Running at 40 Plus now EA affiliated, and that support network around it as well. And as we mentioned, England Athletics has launched that individual running membership, which can connect runners with the like-minded community. And of course, that's all about support as well. And we have an exclusive Strava community where we've all used Strava, haven't we, where you can share all those experiences as well and make your miles mean more. And that support is incredibly important, isn't it, in everyone's running journey. So, Sara, if I can come to you, how do you think the support around you has shaped that running journey, and what kind of role do you think that's played in it for you?
So the initial support came from family and friends, kind of encouraging me to do something, anything, you know, get out, make some friends, settle into a kind of a rhythm. And so it's that initial support just to get you out there, encouraging. But then once you're within this community, you kind of, well, I had, you know, the people telling me, oh, you should try this, or okay, you're doing parkrun. Oh, what about doing this little fell race on the hills? You know, and it's just finding out what's out there and sharing knowledge as well. And if there's how to train, yeah, I mean, the list goes on. It's the support from other people around you in the wider community is invaluable.
Yeah, and those of us involved in trail running and mountain running and those kind of multi-terrain things, the kind of support network is quite different in that area of the sport, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you need to have someone to kind of help you figure out how to read a map, how to navigate, how to use a compass, and I didn't know how to do any of that before, you know, joining a little fell club, and yeah, and also knowing where to run, what might be a danger, what are the dangers to look out for when you're out there, and how to read the weather, and you know, all the other kind of little aspects that you wouldn't necessarily think of to start with.
Yeah, definitely a different beast. Rio, there's no compasses on the track, there's no maps, it is an oval, you can find your way around, but running is often celebrated for its physical benefits, but also its impact on mental health, overall well-being. So on your journey, how has the support around you, whether it's coaches, teammates, family, the running community, helped that mental health and well-being side for you?
So yeah, like, I mean, fortunately there's only one direction to go around a track, so I've got one less obstacle. But in terms of support, like, I find a lot of comfort in myself in sport, knowing that like the goals that I've set for myself are high enough that I can't do them on my own. And I find a lot of comfort in that fact that like there's a bunch of people around me and a team around me that like, I'm not going to say that I need, but like to reach the goals that I've set, I need people to pick me up when I'm down, to make me stronger, to make me believe that I can do it, to bring knowledge that I don't have and I can't acquire in this space of time. And yeah, personally, I find a lot of comfort in the fact that that's the case. And in terms of mental health, obviously that's a really important conversation to have in life, but in sport, like, we deal with a lot of things, a lot of highs and a lot of lows. But I think one part of that conversation that sometimes is missing is like that middle section. So we've got the lows, we've got the highs, we've got them peaks, but then where are you the rest of the time? What makes you happy every day? And for me, like, friends and family, that's where they come in perfectly. And it's like, you're not there at the track when I'm on the floor doing 300 meters, and you're not there when the injury happens, but you're there the whole rest of the time. You make me happy every day, and it's like, yeah, it's just one of them things that I think when you realize them small things that keep you stable in between, that's where a support network can be like essential.
And Jo, we mentioned obviously as a 5-time Olympian spanning, well, more than 2 decades, right from when you were at school through to those performances. You've had highs and lows, challenges, and how's that kind of running community helped you sustain that such a long and successful career?
I mean, I think for all of us as runners, we've got people that support us, and you're right, when you've had a career, then there's school teachers that first recognise that maybe you enjoy your running and that, and then you go on to a club, and you're so grateful for all the volunteers there that have enabled you to start realising your dreams of enjoying your running and having those opportunities, people at the club, all the timekeepers, all the administrators, everyone that is there to enable you to do what you're doing. And I think we're all in that position of having people that are there volunteering, helping us to realise our goals and dreams. And then obviously coaching, there's coaches there. My husband has always been a great support to me, coaching me, and now along with my husband we're coaching others and really enjoying how they're able to do, and it's been lovely that we can use our experiences to do that. And then just friends and family, and of course online communities like Running at 40 Plus, we're all encouraging each other. And I think it's brilliant as well that England Athletics have got this new scheme where people might not feel confident to join a club at this stage, but they could build towards that. And running is so inclusive, it's there to support everybody, and I think it's a brilliant scheme. But yeah, definitely along the journey there's all that support. And I'll tell you what I was going to say about, if I had to read a map, that would be hilarious. I can't even find my way around this building. And I used to work as a physiotherapist, and people used to laugh at me, so I used to get lost in the hospital when I was working. It's always been different was, but yeah, I was just thinking how terrifying that would be, and I would definitely need a lot of support to read a map. And I think, would you find that terrifying?
I don't really get how that even works.
So all credit to you, but yeah, it's just been something I've really, really enjoyed, and I think it was really important what Rio was saying about health and well-being as far as mental health. You've got the mental health support of being part of a community, which is so supportive, and then you've got running in itself, getting out in the great outdoors, that headspace, that boost to how you feel about yourself, boosting the self-esteem, and you're getting back from a run and you feel like you can more cope with other challenges of life. It gives you that headspace. And yeah, I mean, there's so many different things. I could talk about running and how brilliant it is all day, really.
So I think we're getting from that, for both Rio and Jo, we're ruling out a mountain running or trail running career. Yeah, we're not
just for now.
Just for now, yeah. At least you're going the right way around the track. That's a good start. But we all know there's highs and lows, and we mentioned it just briefly there, where we get little setbacks, don't we? We've all had it. The runners sitting here, I've had it. We've all had different injuries or problems during our running journeys. And the running community, like the one we're building with our new membership with Run EA, is, provides that support, the encouragement. But Rio, I wanted to just come to you, and obviously Paris 2024, and I know when we spoke, this time last year, obviously the goal was still there, and around the British Champs time, you did make a post on your social media, sort of, which was very open and honest, so full credit for you for that, where you just missed out on the Olympic selection there. But how do you use that experience to shape your mindset, and what does that mean for your goals for obviously 2026 European Championships, Commonwealth Games?
So thanks for noticing my Instagram firstly. But just for context, I had a really good season in 2023, won 2 world medals, and then started training in the end of 2023, and it was going really well, and then dropped a weight on my foot. I don't actually know if I've ever told anyone how I did it, but I dropped a weight on my foot and I broke my toe. And obviously as a sprinter, you really need your toe. That's not very surprising. And I was in a boot for about 3 to 4 weeks, and then after that, long story short, the whole space of time, I didn't run on a track for 5 months on the lead up to the Olympics, which obviously wasn't ideal. And as just mentioned, like my one goal for the whole year was to make the Olympics. I had one goal. That was it, point blank, make the Olympics. Didn't really care how. I just wanted the tattoo somewhere. Didn't really care where. But that was my one goal. And when it got closer to the time where I quite clearly wasn't in the team, I was a reserve, and it got closer to the race, and it didn't seem like I was getting called up, I had this feeling of failure because this was my one goal, and I'd obviously failed this goal. But at the same time, there was this like overwhelming feeling that I was proud, like weirdly proud, kind of like I'd never felt this feeling of proud before. And it was because it was like I'd gone through all of these trials, tribulations, and I'd still managed to stand on the start line at trials, having only really done blocks in that warm-up and 1 week before, none for the rest of the year. Got into the blocks, and I just went around the track and tried my absolute best, and like that itself, now when I look back at it, is my biggest success in sport in a time where like it could have been my biggest failure. So to answer the question, it's like changed the way that I look at success in myself. And yeah, having gone through that, the medals are obviously nice, but the first thing I'd like to show about myself is that I can go through all of that and then still try my best. And having like people around me around that time to like realize that and support me through that was really important for me, which is why obviously the membership that England Athletics are doing is really important, just to have people around you to support you through that journey so that you can realize that through yourself.
And we have to ask then, are the Europeans and Commonwealths, are we looking good?
Yeah, so how it changes my goals in the future is that like, I think before I used to have this mindset of like, I just need to improve. If I improve every single day and learn more every single day, then I'm going to get better, or the others are going to quit. There's either one or the two. And then eventually, at some point it changed into like, make the Olympic team, do this, do that. And I've kind of reverted back to a bit more of like, stay healthy, improve, learn every day that I can. And then when that happens, all of them things that are tick boxes, obviously I want to break the British record. Obviously I want to go to World Championship, Commonwealths, Europeans. Obviously I want to do them things. So like, they'll happen when the process part takes itself.
So we need to keep an eye on Rio for those, because of course both the European Championships and the Commonwealth Games are in the UK in 2026, so great chance. We'll be able to check up on you, Rio. Sara, we know you've had some injuries during your career and not too long ago, and that can be a physical and emotional hurdle basically for any runners. So how do you deal with injuries when they happen? And like, how do you move forward? How do you kind of just keep on going after that?
I feel like there's like an internal thing that I just completely forget that it's happened. And I think I'm just quite lucky with that. I had completely wiped the fact that I'd fallen over. I was out on a little run. It was 3 days before the home internationals, with proudly wearing a little England vest, and I thought I was ready. I was so ready for this race. And 3 days before, I was out for a little jog and I fell over and I got a really deep cut on my knee. Had to have stitches. Went to hospital. And this is like, how am I? Thankfully, this race was actually uphill. So I had to kind of adapt and kind of figure out, in a bit of a process, 3 days is not very long, whether that was going to be okay, whether I was going to be all right. And there was absolutely no pressure to race. Everyone would have been very understanding, and it's about not letting you feel like you need to do this. You don't need to do this. But I think it was just having that happen and still race. I think if it had been, I have to say, it was an uphill only race, so that meant that I could walk back down, and the stitches were actually all right going up. Going down, I could just walk down, and that was fine. But but interestingly, it took a little bit longer to recover from that, but with patience, doing things that you can do, focusing on what you can do. I couldn't cycle because of the bend in the knee, but I could still do other things. I could go out for walks, I could carry a heavy rucksack, I could focus on that rather than what I couldn't do. So, yeah.
And Jo, Rio 2016, that lives long in the memory, I'm sure. And as a mother of two, and I think were you 5 months or 8 months after giving birth, and you were at Rio 2016, is that right?
I was at Rio 2016, but I hadn't just given birth. It was at 2014.
2014.
Yeah. I did go to the Rio Olympics, and I was very old. Like a month after it, I was 43. So I was kind of pushing my luck, and I was so thrilled to be in the team. But 2014, when I won the European gold, I got a lot of banter. I had just come back from having our second child, and she was like 10 months old. But I think notably I was over 40, so I got a new double-barreled surname. I was Jo Pavey 40, and that was kind of my new name. And I did get a lot of banter. A lot of my teammates were calling me Granny, and it was all a lot of fun. And I was really flattered that I got the attention, just because I mean, I don't want to say we're old. None of us are old over 40. It's just that I think I was the oldest person to ever win a European track gold. And it surprised me, because at the start of the year, well, to be honest, actually, it in a way started from the fact that I was in the London 2012 Olympics, and around that time I was thinking, right, this will be my last track race. But then I got a personal best in the 10,000, and then I had a baby, and I thought, well, I've only just really quite recently done my best ever track time. So I tried to make a comeback, but my aim was really to try and get in the team for either the Europeans or the Commonwealths. I got selected, so I won the trial, which was a big shock to me when I won the trial. I did the Commonwealths, and I got a bronze medal in that, and then 10 days later was the Europeans, but I only did the 5K in the Commonwealth Games, and I was thinking, right, this is going to be double the distance now, doing the 10,000, and I wasn't really feeling, that confident, but I thought I'd just give it a go. And running round, it was quite a messy race. Everyone was cutting each other up, and I was feeling really, really nervous. And when I crossed the line, I only put my hands like halfway up, because I thought, no, surely I'm won. I don't want to embarrass myself by over celebrating, because I didn't really think that would happen. And yeah, I got known for being old, but we're not old if we're over 40. But I'm just having a joke that I kind of got recognised for doing it at that age, and it made it really worthwhile, to be honest, because I had my husband and my children, the rest of the family in the stadium, and also it just felt really nice to have spent all those years working towards that, and it made it feel more special, really. And when we hear the injuries like that you've had, and that I'd had a lot of injuries, and it's kind of about finding a way, and if you keep going, you do get there in the end, really. It taught me a lot about just keeping going and working around obstacles, whether that's injuries, whether it's a busy life. You can find a way.
And I think that's such an inspiring story for us, isn't it? But overcoming both of those hurdles, and I'm sure many of us have faced those challenges. Now, we are running a little bit tight on time, but we do want to find out from you guys what's going to be happening next. And Rio, we touched on it a bit for you in terms of moving forward and next year, but obviously between the Europeans and Commonwealths, we've got 2025 season. So what's that look like in this year?
So like I kind of said before, like my main goals for this year was kind of surrounding my health, training, happiness, that type of things. But we've got a World Championships in Tokyo in September, and Tokyo has always been like my dream destination anyway. So to have a World Championships there is kind of like the perfect duo. Hopefully they let me stay afterwards to roam around. But yeah.
So you're hoping that we'll cover your hotel bills and everything else after that, is that right?
I'm going to try and make the team first, and then just beg everyone to cover that type of thing.
He'll be setting up a Just Giving page, I think. Sara, what's next for you?
So this year it's the World Mountain Running Champs over in the mountains in Spain. So that's the target, yep.
And to give us an idea, what sort of distance will you be doing?
So the uphill only, so I can finish on top and enjoy the view.
To be fair, that's not a bad shout. And then taxi back down, I assume, yeah?
Yeah, we'll see, hopefully. Yeah.
Excellent. And Jo, obviously you're coaching now as well. What's the next sort of 12 months look like for you?
Well, I won't be achieving anything as great as these guys, that's for sure. But I still want to get out running, enjoying supporting the athletes that my husband and I are supporting as well, obviously the running community, and doing lots of things to do with running. I do, writing for Runs World, I do some ambassador stuff with Embrace, I do some commentary for Eurosport, but just busy, lots of things. Like, I love keeping involved, but yeah, I do want to get out and race. I say this every year, but this year I'm going to get out and do some races. I set my goals differently though. I think that's the thing. You set a goal that's realistic and one that really motivates you, that you can achieve, and then work back from that goal, set yourself little markers along the way. And I'm really excited about doing that again this year, because I still just love it. I love setting myself goals, but I love just getting out in the great outdoors and soaking up, going for a run. So yeah, just keep going.
I mean, I think we'll all agree it is such an incredible sport, and I can see Anna hovering.
Carry on.
But, it does illustrate the love of running. And, of course, all of you guys can get involved in that love of running and the community by joining Run EA. We're over on stand G60, just over near the inspiration stage. So do pop over and see us. As I say, we are a friendly bunch. But for now, Rio Mitcham, Sara Willhoit and Jo Pavey, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you as well, Barry, for being a fantastic host. Thank you ever so much. Guys, I hope you found that panel as interesting as I did. That was so lovely to hear all about your achievements, your goals, and everything that's coming up as well.